Generals and Presidents. This is a new game, day one. My nation is Poland. So the initial brief is there's 4 players who are very well experienced. That's Japan, Warrant Officer, Iran, Sergeant Major, Algeria, Gunnery Sergeant, China, Staff Sergeant. Looking at the coalitions, there's about 5 coalitions. My one is the UK, Spain, Germany and Norway. Germany is our leader. The next coalition is the Greater CCP coalition, and that is managed by China and Iran, Japan and South Korea. Now Iran and China are in that highly skilled player list, that to be noted. Then there's a little one, free nation one, that's Egypt, Greece and Turkey. That's on the outskirts of Europe. Then the next coalition is called World Powers. This is being run by Russia, and there is Afghanistan, Algeria, Austria, Brazil and obviously Russia. And the last coalition of note is the African coalition, that being Angola, DR Congo, who's the leader, and Mali. It is interesting to note that there is no South American coalition, which is highly irregular. Normally Brazil is the culprit who starts the coalition on that side, but there's no coalition over there. Now I've noticed, I've done a little bit of a study and looked at the odds of everything. I think it's highly probable that the Greater CCP coalition and the World Powers coalition at some point will go to war. Primarily because Afghanistan's next to Iran, they're very close, and Russia is on the borders of China. So there's a lot of potential for friction between those two nations, which is good for Europe. My coalition is European based. Africa, I anticipate, will plod along. Egypt, Greece and Turkey, well, the main bulk of their coalition is in either the Middle East or Africa, and I more suspect that they'll probably try and consolidate that area rather than go straight into Europe. Wouldn't necessarily be a good idea for them. If they've done their research, then they know it possibly isn't a good idea, because the European coalition is made up of 5 European countries, and they're very close to each other, so they can support each other, which is a bit of a worry for them, good for us. So that's the first initial brief on this new game, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good game. There's lots of exciting young players in this game, I think, and it'll be a challenge, I think. I'm looking forward to it. So this transmission's over. I'll speak to you again. Hello Presidents and Generals. This is an update, and I am on day 3. As you can see, I've reached the top, which I do quite often now. Most of the time I go up to the top quite quickly. Not always, but most of the time. But let's have a look at this. I mean, I'm the only person in my alliance who's in let's say the top 10. That's a little bit of concern for me, but we'll talk about that. I'll show you what I've done so far. There we go. Now essentially what I've done, to be quite honest with you, is obviously I've got Poland as a territory, which I am, and I've taken basically NPC territory. That's the computer controlled territory. I've taken a good chunk of that. I've recently moved into Romania. I'm almost finished taking that over, which is a player run country, but it's gone inactive, I think. Well, doesn't matter now, he's almost out, so I have Belarus and Ukraine left to take over in that area. Now my next country I'll take will probably be Belarus because it's easier to take. The landmass is smaller, the cities are closer, I can take it quicker. Ukraine's a bigger country, it will take me longer. So you do Belarus, then Ukraine, that's the plan. My research plan and scheduling is on target. My building plan, which I've pixel perfected, is going to be on course and on target so far. My coalition, now you normally find when you start a new game, and you get a coalition of 5, you normally get at least one from almost the very start, or the start even, going active. And I think that's the case here. I think we've got 2 countries that have gone or going to go inactive, and that's the UK and ironically Germany, the so-called leader of this coalition. But Norway and Spain's doing a good job and they're progressing. Spain in particular shows a bit of talent, so that's going to be quite interesting to watch. But what I shall do, once I've taken Belarus and Ukraine, and if Germany goes inactive, then I'll take Germany and move into France and take that, and then follow through to the UK if that's gone inactive. What I've done, I've let Austria as a peace agreement, let's say, take Zagreb and Sarajevo, which usually benefits me actually, because it means I'm pushing his borders onto Greece and Turkey, which are in an alliance. So now Greece and Turkey have got to look at myself from one coalition and then Austria from another coalition. So they pick fight with one, they might possibly pick a fight with 2 coalitions, which is a little bit of a deterrent, which buys me a bit of time, and time is everything at the start of the game, as you know. Any game when you start, time is everything. So that hopefully will buy me a bit of time. Russia's gone to war with Finland, which is again good news for me, because now he's going to use his resources to beat Finland. Hopefully he'll do it. I think he'll do it. Or in the other way, Finland might give him a hard fight. Either way, it's good. It's good. But what the interesting note was, Bolivia in South America, from Russia's coalition, had a little interest in Europe and was asking me about it and whether I'd be interested to assist him, which I don't quite understand him asking that question, because I'm in a coalition. It's all in Europe. Is it likely that I'm going to turn coat onto my own coalition members? No, I won't be doing that. But I think he is probing though. He is like putting the finger into a little pond and trying to work things out and see what I'm up to and what my coalition's up to. So I've turned around and said, no, I'm not going to help you take Europe. Europe's my coalition has got, and they're doing rather well. You know, they're making good progress. So that puts that seat in his mind that, you know, we're not going to be easy pushover. Move on to think about something else. Anyway, that's it for the time being. So have a good one. I'll see you on another day. Take care now. Hello Presidents and Generals. This is day number 5. As you can see, I'm at the top for the time being. How long that lasts, you never know. You might also notice one of my coalition members, Spain, is in 4th place. Very well done. I'm happy with that. Gives our coalition a little bit more strength on the charts. However, and there is a big however, we have movement here in our coalition. First of all, Germany, our leader, is gone inactive, which means he's actually on countdown for being kicked out. And Norway is also leaving, and they are active. They're leaving within 20 hours. So we'll wait to see what's happening with Norway. Are they going to join another coalition? Are they going to go inactive? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that'll be interesting. My progress so far is I've taken Belarus, I've moved into Ukraine, I've taken their capital in another city, but I've got a few more cities to take from Ukraine, and there's a possibility they might be active. So that's going to be fun. I've taken the capital city anyway, so they're crippled. They're cripples already. Russia's still at war with Finland, I do believe, and Austria is going the way I hoped it was going to go, but they're taking Serbia, and they're taking their border lines right onto Greece and Turkey, and even better, they've moved into Italy, and Greece has also moved into Italy as well. So again, they're going to face borders there. So it's safety and security for me to a certain extent, especially since I've tried to keep good relations with Austria and Russia. I'm trying to keep as good of relations as what I can, friendly relations. So whatever kicks off, it's going to be between them, and hopefully I can stay out of trouble. As for our coalition, what happens with that, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But on a side note, I'm actually busy taking Brussels, which you might see now. And I'll zoom you in to show you Brussels. And there we go. On the far left hand screen, now go move into the centre. I am taking Brussels, which is the home of the EU, I believe. Yeah, so that's a good thing, isn't it? So thank you for watching. I'll report to you the next day. It's worth progressing. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Good morning, generals and presidents. This is Poland on day number 7. I'm leaving the coalition I'm in. Germany is still inactive from basically day 1, and they are the leader. We have 2 people who'd like to join, but obviously that's not going to happen. So the coalition, in my mind, is dead. Looking at Spain, they've been invaded by Algeria successively. Algeria's taken 3 of their cities, including their capital, and on their way taking a 4th. Spain has got nothing to defend against it, so they're out of the game. UK, as we know, was out of the game, inactive for a good length of time at the start. They've come back in the game, but obviously it's too late. Austria. Germany, inactive, has invaded or declared war against Austria. Austria is now attacking Germany, and Austria is not doing a good job, so what can I say? But in response, Russia has now declared war against me, who is the coalition leader and ally to Austria. Now, I have tried communicating with these people regarding the situations that's going on, but they don't listen. I'll show you now. Here's Austria. As you can see, I've told Austria about Germany's inactive. I've even said I'll help attack Germany with him, but I can't do it at the moment because we're in the same coalition, and he's not been booted out of the coalition by the system. Anyway, all this went above his head. He don't understand, so never mind. Russia has declared war against me, so I'm asking him why has Russia declared war. Out of interest to hear his explanation, but I don't think he'll understand that. Russia, this makes it even more ironic, right? Russia, okay, I'm asking Russia on day 5 about this Austria and my concerns with the Greece threatening their borders. No response. On day 7, I'm asking him why he has declared war against me. No response as yet. So, I'm not going to let it go as that, obviously. I'm now rallying my troops, bringing them up to the front line to take Russia. Fortunately, most of the Russian cities are actually on my borders. So I can disassemble essentially Russia very, very quickly, leave them with, say, 2 production cities, whilst I have the rest of it, of what he's got. He's going to be severely crippled quite quickly. He hasn't attacked me yet, and I think he's playing a game called I will pressure you to end the war between Germany and Austria, but I can't do nothing. Germany is inactive. So I'm going to use this time to get my troops up to the front line, into position, and I'm just going to obliterate Russia. There's nothing I can do diplomacy-wise. It's all out of my hands, but yet it's been put on my table, and I've got to deal with it. So I'm going to have to deal with it the only way I can, and that's invasion, and that's defence as well. Russia has declared war against me, so I am defending. So I'm not the fire starter. So I will deal with Russia. I will take their cities out. They're gone. Have a wonderful day. Have a good one. See you again on another day. Good morning, generals and presidents. This is Poland on day 11. As you can see, I've changed coalition, which isn't a surprise, as the Germans, who was the leader of the old coalition, was already inactive for virtually the whole game. So I've changed coalition. I was interested in joining the Iranian coalition as I'm going into Asia, but they had no free slots, so well done to them, being loyal to their own members. And the other coalition, Africa, was very enthusiastic to have me to join them, so it was nice to be well received by the African coalition. So there's my results so far. And here we can see I've got a massive territory now. It stretches into Russia and Asia. I'm starting to bring my troops back into Europe, and I think I'm going to have to deal with Austria. It is a shame because he's a nice guy, but at the end of the day, war and tactics, you've got to follow the path, haven't you? So Algeria is moving into Europe, as we can see now. So I've got to move. I've got to get into Austria, take them out, and then take the rest of Europe out. United Kingdom, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, they're all open targets. So I've got to deal with the only real threat in Europe, and that's Austria, and he's going to go down. I'm bringing all my key troops down. I'm rebuilding more troops. I'm going to stack them appropriately, and then bang, smash, wallop, take him out very quickly. His capital's right on my border, poor soul. So he's going to feel it straight away with me. And there's nothing I can do about it. I do feel sorry about it, but business is business. It's got to be done. Victory is only won by winning wars. So that's what I'm going to have to do. So have a nice day. Enjoy. Admire my little empire as it starts at the moment. And see you again on another day. Good afternoon, generals and presidents. This is Poland on day 15. As you can see, I'm still top of the leader poll on VP points. How long that stays for, who knows. Iran are looking very strong and very dangerous, so they're on my borders now. As you may know, I've now joined the African coalition because there was no room for me in the other coalition, which is okay. So Iran being quite powerful and on my borders is not necessarily a good thing. So we'll take a look at the map. I've invaded Austria. Austria's almost wiped out. Well, they basically are wiped out. I've got all their cities. And I've moved on to the inactive Germany, and I'm now wiping them out. Or I might refer it to as consolidation of inactive territories into my empire. Still, and that's going extremely well as well. I'm very thankful to Austria for wiping out the huge chunk of German military units, which was very helpful. And then I'm looking at now what will be my next nation I'll go for. And I'm thinking possibly Norway. I know Norway's pretty empty. I know the player, if he's not inactive and he's actually playing the game, he hasn't got much military units because he was fighting over there with other people. So I'd think it would be again another easy walk in, take in what I want, which is everything, and I would ultimately look towards liberating the whole Scandinavia, which would link up to my empire quite well. So let's zoom out a little bit. There you can see now Scandinavia region is looking quite juicy. It'll make a nice add-on to my empire. So I think that'll be my next target. My economy is going quite well. So all good. So have a good day, have a good evening. Signing out. Good morning, generals and presidents. It's day 19 and it's Poland. I'm still at the top, just about. Iran's chasing me pretty hard. As planned, I've gone into Scandinavia and I'm quickly taking that over quite efficiently. Down south, I'm now dealing with Greece. Greece has offered no resistance, in all fairness. I think also Greece realised that they got attacked in Turkey by Iran, but they didn't stand much chance. So I think they kind of like left the door open for me, in all fairness. So I'm busy sapping up Greece. I have noticed Iran has not tried to come across into Europe, which in a way is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it means Iran's being quite, intelligent. They're being very sensitive to continental borderlines. So it's a good thing. That's something we've got to watch out for. As you see now, Russia's now accepted peace, so that's all sorted. So the only hostilities I've got is in Scandinavia and Greece. Thank you for listening. Welcome, generals and presidents. This is day 23 of Poland. As you can see, I'm still at the top. I'm hanging in there, and it's going quite well. You will also see that Scandinavia has now been fully taken, as I planned. The UK is on its way to being taken, and it's almost completed, in fact, and I'm starting to move on to both Ireland and Iceland. I have also noticed that Mongolia has taken a little bit of an interest with my activities on the borderlines between myself, Iran and Mongolia. I'm not too troubled by this at this moment in time because the game is still relatively early. I'm hoping to complete the final takeover Iceland and Ireland and clean it all up, and then it's preparation now for the big war which will come mid-game. I want to get onto that as quick as I can. One of my strategies is to get to this stage as quick as I can before anybody else, and then renovate my economy and make it stronger for a good few turns, and then once that's done, then build up my my forces with the strategies I intend to apply. I've gained more experience now, and I realise what is needed, what's not needed, and I can make things more efficiently. In future games, I will become even more efficient than this game. So the future games, hopefully in theory, I will be better. I will give a better performance. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying it so far. The quick, the quick fire, exploration and revealing how well I've done over a period of time. And I hope you enjoy it. Have a good day now. Good evening, generals and presidents. This is Poland on day 25. As you can see, I've still got 114 cities with my VPs being at the top at the moment. I did have a little escapade the past few days with Iran, who attacked me, thinking that I was going to attack them, so done a preemptive strike in a way to give me a tap on the shoulder. I saw it pointed out to him that Mongolia was on my borders, which inspired me to bring up troops onto his borders, but still on my territory, and he decided that he would bomb one of them, which I can partially understand, but as I explained it to him the way it was, and that's it, you see. You know, it wasn't a case of me being the aggressor. It was a case of his coalition member being a bit naughty, which he accepted, and in the end we come to peace. And I said to him, I won't offer peace again. The next time it kicks off, it goes to the full course, mate. You know, it just ends. The game will end for either me or for him. And he knows that now. So the next time he declares war on me and starts attacking my units, there is no peace. You know, I'd pounce on him and do him. But anyways, that's all good. My coalition's doing rather well. They're pretty good members. They're good guys, and they keep a check on things. Africa's going to get liberated very shortly as well. So I've turned around and said to him, look, I just want to build up a little bit now. You know, I'm going to build more progress than anybody else in the game, because I've advanced my empire so quickly, and I've been building up my economy all the time. I get accused of being excessively use of gold. I use gold generally at the beginning of a game to give me that little boost. But after that, I don't really use gold after that. You know, it's just a waste of gold. You know, I'll just always make a thing, don't I, about the early start of the game is the most important bit. And it's the bit what really makes the difference. And that's why I boost up a little bit there. And even then, it's like I boost up my economy. So I get my economy up and rolling, you know, virtually as quick as possible. I'll give you an example now. Here you can see that I'm boosting again on the recruitment centres, so I can produce more units quicker. And then if you have a look here, this is where I'm constantly boosting, constantly reinvesting, and I do this all the time. So I'm building my economy up now. This is what I'm up to. This is my stage. I look at it as if I've finished the early stage. I'm entering on the borders of the mid game, and I've reached hopefully mid game before anybody else. So I'm taking advantage of that. I'm all about just building economy, build economy. Another thing what has helped me as well, my coalition has been really brilliant, and they've given me the ability to trade with them and fill up my trade holes, so I can keep that progress even faster, even more efficiently now. And for example, I've had 20,000 tons of fuel, and obviously I paid for it, but you know, when you haven't got no fuel, that stops or hinders your production of building more buildings quite a bit. But when somebody gives you 20,000 fuel, which you need, which you pay for, and then you put that into your resource bin, and then that's going to assist me in building more buildings, which I am going to make very good use of at the moment. That's absolutely brilliant. So that's the game at the moment. I'm going to zoom in now. As you can see, I've got fighter jets on patrol now, so next time he tries that funny business, he's going to get his aircraft shot down. But I am on to the next stage now. I'm worked out if he's got. I think he's going to have bombers. So when we do go to war, which it will eventually happen, I do think, but he's going to use his bombers and he's going to run into my SAMs, and hopefully my SAMs will just knock his aircraft out of the skies and give me supremacy. But saying that, I also know he's aware that I've got fighters, strike fighters, so he's going to have exactly the same thing. So I'm only going to use my strike fighters on essentially defence when it comes to war, and defend those vital areas, you know. And I've got the basic strategy for ground assault as well, and he's realised that as well, because I've got a shitload of pardon the language, special forces, and I've combined them with other elements of military power and units, and hopefully that's going to do well. It's not guaranteed, it's a gamble, because I've not really tried these tactics before, and he's aware of it as well, so there are ways to counteract it. Like I said to you, this game's like rock, scissors, paper, and it is very much like that. Everything depends on what I've got and what he's got and what he can counteract and what I can do. So we'll wait and see. This is day 25, so I'm going to put all this back to all these days together as a first part, because this is the early part and I think about the end of it now, so I'll put all this together for a viewing. I'd like to say, if you're listening to the end of this one, I would like to say thank you very much, and leave any comments, because I like to learn from other people, like, you know, and that'd be brilliant. Thank you for your time and viewing.